네, 여러분 오랫동안 기다리셨습니다. 바로 이어서 많은 분들께서 기다리고 계신 세션이 준비가 되어 있습니다. 국내외 다양한
Open innovation session. So with this session, we're going to talk about various case studies of a large conglomerate. And the first speaker for this session is a Plan H Ventures. So we would like to invite Mr. Won Hankyung of Plan H Ventures. Please give him a big round of applause.
예, 안녕하십니까.
Hello, I am Won Hankyung from Plan H Ventures. So Plan H Ventures is the first accelerator in the construction industry established in 2019 by Hoban Construction Company. Since its establishment, we received additional funding from the company and registered as a VC with the related authorities. So why Hoban construction companies are interested in the VC and startups? As you can see in the left side, this is the present status of construction industry. Construction industry's workforce production is going down and construction is ranked at the lowest, as you can see in this graph, and which shows the correlation between digitalization and production rate. So in order to solve this problem, we have to focus on smart city. Smart city that the construction industry emphasizes posts steady global growth rate, and especially in Asia market, it grows very fast. So here, smart city industry and construction industry's relation can be explained in this slide. There are three core components of smart city platform, which are service, data, infrastructure. And in the infrastructure, the ICT and construction players are the key stakeholders. And the smart city in the future will play as a huge platform where the future ICT are all embedded. So from the designing, the industry, the construction industry should be able to understand these innovative technologies to apply these technologies into smart city. As you can see here, the global smart city projects are going on globally. So as you have learned from the recent news, Saudi bin Salman recently visited Korea to talk about the Neom City project. So as you heard, so many CEOs of leading companies of Korea had a meeting with him. Why? Why did they do that? Because it promises another boom of the Middle East. So that way we can see the future, how the future of construction industry will go in the future. So very conservative industry, the construction industry now moves to this direction, I believe, and there are four pillars of the future strategy that the industry should take, which are the production and quality and recruitment, then all these should have a virtuous cycle. And we also need to reduce environmental pollution and the accident rate. So now I would like to introduce you the Hoban Construction Company and the Open Innovation Team of Plan H Ventures. So Plan H Ventures apply the industrial and construction technologies on top of Hoban Construction Company. So in order to increase synergy effects with our mother company, we currently focus on the urban rejuvenation. But going forward, we hope to become an open innovation player. Because some of you might not be familiar with Hoban Construction Company, I prepared this slide. So in order to learn about the open innovation of Hoban Group, you have to learn first about the group, and which was established 33 years ago. And in 33 years, Hoban Construction Company became the 33rd largest companies in Korea. And I can say that we are a unicorn in the construction industry, and we acquired apartment building company and to become the Hoban Construction Company. And we also have our unique technology in construction. And you've heard of Avenue Prang in Gyeonggi Province, and these are the distribution channels that we have. And we acquired golf courses to enter into the sports and leisure industry. And we recently acquired a manufacturing company to enter into the manufacturing industry. And we also have some subsidiaries inside our Hoban Group. So to this end, we also have entered into the media sector as well. And Hoban Group recently created Open Innovation Team, and I am in charge of this team. And Plan H Ventures invested companies are connected to Hoban Group through this Open Innovation Team. And we also orchestrate all the open innovation across the company. We are a group creating a space and improving space. So we are interested in technologies that will boost the life quality living inside this space. And that means that we are interested in all technologies from platform business, mobility, to robotics, environment, AI, and fintech. We have been much focused on smart city so far, but we will move toward investing in robotics, environment by expanding our portfolio. And to make it possible, we have established our nationwide network, as you can see in this slide, and not only in Busan and in other cities. And we also have our presence in research center, and we are in partnership with research centers and universities as well. And we have been also selected as a midterm venture capital firm by the government. So now I would like to show you how sincere we are in doing this open innovation. So first is the use of artificial intelligence. So as you can see in this slide, so 1011's AI-based construction, auto design, and modular solution. From the development, so this is a video this video shows what happens when you are building an apartment building. And there are many standards that you have to meet when you build an apartment building. And this 3D solution allows the construction company to be able to actually see how the apartment building will look like once it is developed. So it really saves time for the stakeholders, and all the stakeholders can share this video at one table. And the video also shows that the apartment building will meet the standard by showing a green line, and if the line becomes red, it means that they are breaking a standard. And we applied this to this construction site, and at the construction site, there are some shelters for the construction workers, and we actually created a modular house for them. And childcare center was also established as a modular house for the first time in Korea. And at the right bottom, you can see the picture of it. This is a middle school building in a modular way, and this modular construction method is very eco-friendly, and it does not involve the construction site. So it's a very future type strategy. And we are working on this project in collaboration with other companies right now. And next is Pluxity, which is a digital twin-based urban construction industrial site control solution. So this is a 3D engine solution that they have. So I believe, so the digital twin is really the digitization of construction industry, I believe, and all these digital twin technologies allow the construction companies to be able to construct buildings in a digital way. And so they are providing the comprehensive control solution, and this Fluxity is also pushing forward with working with golf courses. So, and this technology can be applied to the existing buildings as well as the buildings to be constructed. And we recently developed a shared safety solution to prevent any industrial accidents at the construction site. Next is Byungsoo. They have an AI vision-based construction site drone solution. So they are one of the few companies that have this kind of technologies. So with collaboration with Hoban, the Byungsoo could expand their projects by applying drone solutions. And this team actually could be able to find their real resources and their real asset for value after starting to collaborate with us. And next is Rowi Lab Korea. And they have a metaverse and space curating platform solution. And we actually started to apply this platform to the virtual apartment tour. And there are many virtual houses, and you have to look at the virtual houses when you have to buy a new house. But that's not the actual house, but a virtual house. So we really made a lot of efforts to make this virtual house as real as possible, so that the buyers can make a better educated decision. So thanks to this project, we could apply it to results and other building selling projects. And they are working with Samsung Digital Plaza and other large companies. And we also have invested in zero energy company. This is a new material company, which is called AO company. We thought they are just a ventilation company, but it was not. They use the MOF material, which is a new material. And compared to their competitors, with this new material, they could increase the efficiency and could save energy by 70%. So they are zero energy new material company. So they are applying it to the community centers or the basement floors facilities, and we give them good opportunities to apply their technology. And next is FRT. They have a source technology of wearable robots. And they developed wearable robots for industrial sites. And next is D-Hive with the autonomous driving transport robots. So this cart-like robot transports cargoes. And as you can see in this video, it moves without person. And next, as I shared with you, we entered the media industry, and with capsule media, we produce MCN-based video content and platform. And we recently attracted 3 billion won, and they concluded a Series A successfully. And next is Vestella Lab. And as you enter this Posco, what makes you most difficult? That's the parking lot, right? It's hard to find the vacancy in the parking lot, and if you are using a wheelchairs, then you will also need to find dedicated zone, and you don't know whether there are any empty space or not. And this company solves that kind of problem by providing a solution of parking lot navigation map. Their application is now applied to Incheon International Airport and Kintaes and other large parking lots. And it has recently been applied to large apartment complex as well. And we actually focus on people and people's quality of life, and that's why we decided to collaborate with Biba Innovation. which uses the healthcare big data to share healthcare information on their platform. And Cecil Primacy recently applied their smart farm into the shopping mall. So Plan H Ventures is to create a future lifestyle space so that the Hoban Construction Company can, in the end, increase the quality of life. So we hope you to collaborate with us. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Won. Please giving a big round of applause once again. So it was very insightful presentation about the smart city, new business, and that they are working on. And we could also see that how they value the startups. Thank you for the presentation once again. It was the first presenter of Open Innovation Center. And next, we will invite Mr. Keunhwan from Posco Holdings.
박수 부탁드립니다.
Nice to meet you all. I am from Posco Holdings Future Technology Research Institute. My name is Keunhwan. I'm in charge of a Venture Valley creation at Posco Holdings. As you know, Posco has the Postec, which is a science and technology specialized university, and Posco and Postec, based on their collaboration, established a venture innovation ecosystem, and we are also aspiring to have more collaboration between the universities and industries. And let me briefly introduce to you the Posco Group. As many of you already know, Posco was founded around 55 years ago in Pohang. Actually, most of the people at the time and did not know about the blast furnace, but our mission was to make our country rich and wealthy based on our blast furnace technology, and the probability of success at the time was very slim. It was almost near to zero, but we ventured ourselves to establish this company Posco, and luckily we were able to have great success, and Posco has been noted as the one of the largest steel company in the world. And starting from this year, we are also focusing on new industries like secondary batteries and new materials. So Posco is one of the representative large conglomerates of South Korea, and so when we were making the steel mill in the 1980s, actually in 1986, Posco decided to make investments for a education. That is how we started to build the Postec, the science and technology specialized university, and we've invested over 2 billion won thanks to the passion and dedication of then President Park Tae-jun. And so the Postec is not just for Posco, it is for the Korean people, for the country, and also for the world. So Postec has become one of the greatest universities in the world, and we have the R&D infra in Pohang together with the Postec, and also the 2030. So we have over 5,000 researchers, and we are spending over 2 trillion won on a yearly basis for the research and education. So our goal is to combine the industries and also the researchers to establish a venture ecosystem. Our effort started in 2014. So our goal is also make contributions to the local economy and also provide jobs for the young people, and also to bring benefits to the country. So one of the large pillars of this one is a venture fund and also venture valley. We have been investing over 1 trillion won so far, and in order to help out venture companies, we are focusing on 4 things. First, as you know, the Posco group has the revenue of over 87 trillion won, and we have 160 branches around the world, and we are working with over 1,700 companies around the world. But this is the asset that we could utilize in helping our startups going global and going for a test and R&D. We are also able to support startups with all kinds of network. For example, if a startup is working on the automobile related technology, actually we are providing steel plates for almost every auto companies in the world. So we could also collaborate the startup and also automobile companies together. And also we have great research capabilities. So venture companies could utilize our research capabilities for scaling up and also for a market for advancing their marketability. And also we have a very close relationship with the local government, so we will be able to just connect the startups with the local government and also with the post-tech. And now there are many company startups established from the post-tech. We have the already proven and established venture ecosystem at post-tech. So startups will all be able to also get support from the ventures ecosystem at post-tech. So for the past 50 years, Posco has been receiving a lot of support and from the Korean people, and we are aspiring to giving back this support to the country. As you know, large conglomerates are no longer able to start a new industry alone. So we also need to rely on new ideas and new businesses and new technologies coming from startups, and they are moving so fast. So when you think about large conglomerates where the salary level is so high and it takes a lot of time to make decisions, so we are now relying on a venture ecosystem. And so when the product and also technologies are being matured, and then large conglomerates could just participate, and so we have this sort of ecosystem. As you can see, the R&D is over 10 trillion won over the world, and Posco has been changing it to shape into the Posco Holdings. And now we have this Posco Future Technology Research Institute. So we have this R&D center, and also we have the collaboration with universities, research institutes, and industries. And this is the front line, and at the back end of our ecosystem, we have the venture platform. So the venture ecosystem and also the collaboration of universities, institutes, and industries, and also our own institutes will work together as 3 main pillars. As you can see, we have Venture Valley and venture funds. And Venture Valley is to support the startups for a support, and we have actually prepared 800 billion won to invest into a startups on every stage. So Posco Holdings will also be very active in the M&A activities because we are always looking for the startups who are ready to exit. So we are looking for all the startups in every stage, from the early to the late and the exit stages. And I'll talk about the venture funds in detail. This picture is the bird's eye view, and now we have the Postec, and we also have the Research Institute of Science and Technology. So Postec started together with the Research Institute with the aim to have collaboration between universities and universities, and there is an accelerator research institute where the basic science is being studied, and also we also do the scaling up at the and also there is a pilot plant colored in a violet, and there are over 500 laboratories. So before going into a production in earnest, project can be put into a demonstration, and the incubating center was a so it's the incubation center launched last year, and also we have the Posco International, which is a trading company, and we will be able to help startups to go global with this trading company. As I mentioned, we have this all-round support for the startups. So we have the space science and also practical study, and also incubating and also scaling up and M&A. And so we are working for the all-round support for the startups. And the change of grant was launched last year, and over the year, the valuation of the companies has been more than doubled, and the number of employees also has doubled by 1.5 times. And our goal is to have this kind of a change of ground in other cities like Pohang and Seoul and Gwangyang. And this is the hard also a venture platform. We are working on the IT and also bio and material parts and equipment to help our startups grow even further. So we've been having meetings with the CEOs of venture companies for interviews, and we asked the question, what is the hardest thing, hardest obstacle that you have to overcome? And the answer is like this: we have been able to develop new materials. But before a mass production, we want to just to put these materials into a testing, because if you just skip this process and go to the mass production directly, then the risk is too high. So there is a pilot plant in Pohang. There are 8 complexes. As you can see, the roof is like 20 meters in length, and all the utilities and everything is provided. And so the CEOs of startups could rent the place, and they could just put the product into a demonstration and testing by scaling up the product like 100 times or 200 times. And so just before the mass production, they could go through this process. And now so thanks to this kind of a demonstration, they will be able to reduce the risks before going into the mass production. And also the Ministry of the SME is very fond of such an idea, that they have decided to have this plant scale a laboratory is going expanded next year. And also we also need to have a place where the the products should be put into a demonstration and testing. And smart factory is supported by large conglomerates. So at Posco, there are a variety of themes that we are looking into, like robotics and autonomous driving and safety, and also health. So we are now providing a framework, a sort of a framework for startups to be connected with a relevant field. For example, if there is a venture company involved in the radar system, then we could also utilize such a technology, the radar system, for the lift and for the awareness system at the large factories at Posco. So in the field of safety, actually, many people are losing their lives, and most of them are not the Posco employees. Actually, we have workers from the subcontractors, and they work on a daily basis. Actually, the problem is that we do not know the history of these temporary workers. So what I'm doing is that we are looking for a application which will just match the temporary employees with the Posco. So the application has its name called a CADA. So we introduced such application to the department at Posco in charge of the safety. And this one is a smart city run by the government. Actually, the Ministry of Land and Transportation is in charge of this smart city challenge a project. Actually, this is a huge project costing 20 billion won, and most of the local municipalities are working with a large conglomerate in their own municipalities, forging a consortium. However, we are working with 9 venture companies, and we have been able to just collect all the good ideas and technologies together and apply it for the Smart Challenge project. Actually, we have been selected as one of the 4 projects, and after demonstrations, we were assessed for our capability, and the Ministry of Land and Transportation was quite happy with our outcome, and that because it is the collaboration, the outcome was the result of the collaboration between Posco and 9 different venture companies. It was only possible because we have a long history of having trust and also reliance between the Posco and venture companies. So we have been selected as the number 1A for this challenge project. And the next one is a bio. Pohang has a great infrastructure. For example, for the biotechnology, one is the example is the accelerator, and it is one of the most expensive equipment in this world. So if one is interested in analyzing the structure of a protein, such a radioactive accelerator has to be utilized for the analysis. So we have all the resources available at Pohang, like the post-tech and the bio and specialized professors and etc. So we've been talking with the bio companies, and what is quite notable is that all the materials which will cause diseases are already known to the scientists. So the problem is how to capture and how to kill such a material to heal diseases. So VCs are working with the university professors to come up with a solution, and they can also working with the big pharmacy companies like Pfizer. So if they can accelerate the process of establishing a new startup. So in the United States, this is sort of a planned plant startup is quite famous in the United States, and one of the examples is Moderna. So in Pohang, many professors are preparing to launch a new business together with the venture capitalists, and also the other one is the fund, and we are helping out. Startups with the venture funds. So actually, the amount of the funds varies depending on the scale of the project, and if a startups have a technologies that we are interested in, then we also select them as a potential we just put them on the potential M&A list, and also we are working with the top collaborate venture capitalists, and the return on investment is very good, and we have been able to fund over 300 billion won so far, and also we are going to provide investment for 200 domestic companies and 700 companies in the world, and so we are now making the basis for identifying and incubating new industries for the future, and Posco is also looking for companies where we believe that we could also go to the next level together. So we are selecting these companies on a yearly basis, and as I mentioned, these companies will be put on the potential M&A list. So this is sort of a valuation and valuing up. And also another example is a bio company, and run and led by Professor Hwang In-nan of Post-Tech, and also he received the seed money from through the IMP of Post-Tech, and they are working on making a new materials. So actually, he was able to get the support from the Post Holdings and at the PP actually. So the Post Holdings received 3% of the shares, and now we are also helping out this company to go global. So this is an example that we helped we are helping startups from the very first stage to the end. And so if you come to the change ground in Pohang, you'll see this slogan: "Today's research is tomorrow's business." And so I believe that the collaboration between universities, industries, and research institutes will change the future. So we will be able to identify and develop new technologies, and then it will lead us to the new the future. And South Korea is now reaching to that transition a point. So Posco will be utilizing its resources to help out venture companies and startup ecosystem, so that it will become the next growth engine for our country. We'll do our best in supporting startups. Thank you.
네, 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 산학연의 소도적인 역할을 하고 있죠. 포스코홀딩스 미래기술연구원의 김은환 상무입니다.
Thank you for the presentation. It was a director came from Posco Holdings, and his presentation is about Posco Holdings' efforts to establish a startup ecosystem based on the collaboration between universities, institutes, and industries. Next, we have LG Electronics, and we're going to invite Mr. Byungsoo Song of LG Electronics BSA department.
Good afternoon. I am from New Business Incubation Team, Byungsoo. Today, I would like to talk about LG Electronics Open Innovation Platform. LG Group's open innovation activities have a Superstar, which is a representative open innovation platform of the company. And underneath it, there are many open innovation platforms, including LG Chemical Companies, Global Innovation Challenge, LG Displays Dream Play, LG Energy Solutions Battery Challenge, LG CNS's Startup Monster, and LG Electronics Home Tech Innovator, where I belong to, and Biznovator. Let me first talk about Superstart, which is LG Startups representative open innovation platform. And Superstar means a base camp for everyone aiming to challenge and make a new start. The core values are connect possibility, authentic partner, and next big thing. So it is to provide innovative customer values. LG Electronics Superstar has 5 main programs: Superstar Day, Superstar Lab, Superstar Incubator, Superstar Crew, and Superstar POC. Let me elaborate one by one. First is Superstar Day. This is the leading meetup event of LG Group. So LG Group's startups are gathered together to present their POC results and network with each other. Next is Superstart Lab. LG provides the office space for free of charge to startups to incubate them. Next is Superstart Incubator, which accelerates and incubates startups. This year, we selected Lessa, which is AI-based development and management solution, and Plana, which is a hybrid-based aircraft development company, among others. And they are this year's incubation startups of LG Electronics. We select the startups with high future potentials and higher chances of collaboration with us. And next is Superstar Crew, which is a mentorship program of LG executives and staff members. It is to share our know-how and connect with the startups. Next is Superstart POC. It is to have POC programs with startups and LG. So, as I shared with you, aside from the Superstar, there are many other open innovation programs run by our subsidiary companies. Global Innovation Challenge run by LG Chemistry and Battery Challenge by LG Energy Solution. And LG Display runs Dream Play. And there's also Startup Monster run by LG CNS. Next is LG Electronics Open Innovation Program, where I belong to. So LG Electronics have different kinds of open innovation programs depending on the characteristics of each business unit. And home and appliance unit and CTO unit and BSC unit run their own open innovation program. So home appliance unit develop and collaborate with startups who have good ideas which can give a new experience to customers by using the home appliances. And CTU unit work with startups who has remote but very cutting-edge technologies. And the BS unit, where I belong to, has open innovation platform called BizNovator, which I will elaborate more later. So first, let me talk about the business unit structures of LG Electronics. There are 4 main business units with regional offices overseas and sales and marketing company. So HNA is Home Appliance and Air Solution department, while HE is Home Entertainment, VS means Vehicle Component Solutions, and BS means Business Solutions. So the BS unit, where I belong to, conducts research on robots as a solution. So we research sterilization robot, which cleans hotels and cruise, and subboat, which conducts room service at hotels, and guide boats, which guides people, and serve boats, which serves at restaurants. So we conduct R&D on different kinds of robots. And we also do R&D and production on LED signages, as you can see on this slide. And as for the monitors, we also research and produce gaming monitors and medical monitors and beam projects. So let me explain and introduce you to the BizNovator of BS unit. So BS unit came up with this open innovation program from the point of B2B, while others are mainly focused on B2C. And the reason BizNovator is targeting B2B market is because B2B business have different characteristics than B2C process, and they are mainly regarded as quite a difficult market from normal startups. So we decided to collaborate and support startups so that they can apply their solution to our vertical combined solutions. That way, startups can have more business opportunities and create revenues from that. And this is public subscription for BizNovator. And for 2 months, we conducted internal interviews and research to select our core businesses and new businesses. So digital signage solution, future mobility infrastructure, IT device, CX, robots, private 5G, digital healthcare are the all selected core industries. And now I would like to share with you the current status of BizNovator of this year. So for our first BizNovator program, as many as 132 startups submitted applications, and we wanted to collaborate with as many as possible. So we conducted meetup with 41 startups to select 6 out of them. We planned to do it with 4 in the beginning, but we ended up with 6 because there are so many good startups. And so we successfully completed the first Biznovator closing event, and we had many executives and staff members participated in this closing event along with accelerators, showing that high interest internally. And we believe that our Biznovator is very different from others because we do not just provide one-on-one matching with the startups, but we draw the best quality of collaboration through one team project collaboration during the POC period. Sometimes the business units that are connected to the startups are not well aware of the startup, and they do not show much interest in conducting POC with the startup. But we define the project theme beforehand so that we can conduct POC as a one team internally with high participation from related business units inside the company. And next is our success collaborative POC cases. We collaborated with Embise to successfully develop the prototype video editing device for the MZers content creators. And next is our collaboration with iSynapse. They are a startup which has the digital signage solution. They have a very high quality of precision in terms of detecting the user's location, and it is already applied to the K-pop fans and the auto payment services for S-Oil. And we applied it to LG Electronics digital signage so that the signage will better work based on the location detection of the user. And next example is our collaboration with Agus Vision. Here you can see the device follows the movement of the user, and we conducted a POC for these robots where the Agus Vision's technology or solution is applied. So from this year's Superstar program, we could collaborate with very good and talented startups and could apply their high quality technologies to our products as well. So inside LG Electronics, we also have Superstart and Biznovator. And Superstart is a startup program that has more social impact characteristics. So it is to support the growth of startups by finding startups which can work with us to better from a longer perspective. And while Biznovator is more focused on shorter term collaboration, and the Superstart and Biznovator are not cannibalization, but they are actually connected to each other. And Superstart status can be reviewed as a pool for Biznovator, and we are also recruiting new startups to be included in our program for next year. So please let us know if you're interested. And if you are interested in meeting up with us, please feel free to email us anytime you want. Thank you for your attention. Please give him a big round of applause once again. Yes, so he shared with us LG Electronics Open Innovation Programs. So Superstart and Biznovator are their representative open innovation programs, and they are looking for the startups who would like to be included in that program from next March. So please look that up at their website. And I once again would like to thank all the presenters for today. And we are having open innovation session with you, and we have one last presenter for you.
차 제로원
Now I'd like to invite Senior Research Manager Mr. Changwoo of a Hyundai Motors. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Changwoo Song. I'm in charge of General Accelerator at Hyundai Motors. Hyundai Kia Motors has established this a 01 brand for open innovation. And you might think that it is a misspelled, but it is a combination of Z-E-R and number O1 and alphabet NE for a Googling. You might wonder why we adopted this name 01. Actually, it comes with a variety of meaning. It means that we create everything from nothing, and all the source codes are the combination of 0 and net. So there are many ways to interpret this one. But from personally speaking, I think the open innovation the capital letter of open innovation is O and I. So that's why I think we adopted this name 01 for our program. So 01 is to incubate a startups for future growth engine. We have 3 programs in operation. First one is the preliminary entrepreneurs and developers and artists who are not yet entrepreneurs. We have this 01 playground, and the second program is to start to have a in-house startups comprised of Hyundai Motors employees. We have this 01 company built, and the last one is a 01 accelerator. It is just connecting outside startups with the Hyundai Motors. And today I'd like to talk about the 01 accelerator. And prior to introducing to you the program itself, I'd like to talk about the purpose of the open innovation activities at Hyundai Motors. And Hyundai Automobile Group is providing all sorts of automobiles, and we are also in collaboration with a variety of companies, from a part and to the distribution and sales and marketing. We have this great value chain available, but as a conventional and traditional OEM, sometimes we have hurdles to overcome in terms of speedy development, and this kind of a problems has been noted, and so we believe that we must go into the next level with a new industries like batteries and automobile and etc. Of course, Hyundai Motors has great infrastructure in terms of human resources and funding. However, large conglomerate are very traditional and also conservative. So we sometimes have to follow the decisions from the top. So actually, it is also one of the obstacles that we have to go over and overcome to be more adapted to the changing environment. So in order to establish the new type of industries, instead of utilizing our own resources, we were looking into the open innovation study together with the startups, where we could go through this validation process in a very speedy manner. So this is the mission that I was persisted upon, and the Zero One Sleep program started in 2018. And in the very beginning, we did not have any specific themes to follow. So we started to just source outside the startups, and we thought about connecting these startups for various players based on our own visions, and then Zero One actually is also interested in making investments. So sometimes we have limitations in identifying the needs from the field. So we were had some errors in matching the startups with the operating teams. So in order to solve this problem, starting from 2018, we reinvented this program to make sure that that we have a better match between startups and operating teams. So we had meetings with the operating teams at Hyundai Motors, seeking the needs from the operating teams, and such a needs were developed into a challenge programs, so that startups could apply for the challenge programs with their own solutions. And in 2019, we adopted this reinvented model. At the time, we had three the branches and a total of 12 operating teams. Throughout the year, we were able to have collaboration between startups and also operating teams at our group. And thanks to such a move, now we are working with 125 operating teams throughout the whole branch of our group. And also the operating teams also are called as the Hyundai Automobile Group Open Innovation and commissioned. So the projects were initiated by the operating team. Once the project is initiated, then we just go around the world to find the startups who are interested in this one. We have this Hyundai Cradle, which are based in Seoul, Silicon Valley, Tel Aviv, Berlin, and Beijing, and Singapore. So we are sourcing startups around the world at the same time. So these are the open innovation projects so far. In the theme of auto tech, we had a project for the smart glass solution and air quality management solution. And for the user experience, we had the in-cabin monitoring solution and human-machine interface. And under the theme of EV charging, we had the unmanned charging for the EVs. And in the theme of the mobility and logistics, we have the automobile data connecting service and cold chain FMS solution. And for robotics, we have a PPR solution and PV micro robotics. And under the theme of construction tech, we also have the building energy management solution and drone measuring solutions. So with this project, we presented the group, and startups were able to select their own themes they apply to. So in a nutshell, the Zero One Accelerator is like a strategic startup accelerator program in collaboration with the Hyundai automobile company. And so once the Zero One is able to source the startups, and the operating teams of the Hyundai Group will select the startups that they want to work with. So the startups from the startup's point of view, I believe that the operating teams are their potential customers and clients, and at the same time, they could also play a role as a mentor, which is a very unique characteristic of of our project. And once the startups work with the operating team, and then we will just assess the whole process. And 01 also will select the startups where they could have a long-term collaboration with the company and for a strategic partnership. So starting from 2018 till today, we were able to work with a 100 over 107 collaboration projects. So 72 startups out of 107 received a investment from the 01 project in the form of a share investment. So in the Mecca track, actually, we are working with a department of Hyundai Group, where the optional products are being developed. It's some sort of a front end a research department. So it takes around 7 years for a automobile company to actually adopt a new technology. Our goal was to just compress and this whole process through a fast track. So from 7 years to 3 to 4 years. So based on the research results of a customer's needs, then the product department comes with a scenario, and also they will be able to identify startups with its distinctive technologies via the 01. And also the department of production is also working with the HQ of Hyundai in terms of the customizing R&D and also marketing, etc. So together with the production department, we have then all the players involved. We have sort of a assessment process, and also apart from the production, the rest of the projects are belonging to the project track. And actually, the collaboration process is quite similar, but what is different is that we are working with operating teams which already completed the production process, so that they can have a co-ownership of the product. And also, once the startups are selected to collaborate with the group, then they will receive an opportunity to have a investment and IR. And so this is sort of a strategic collaboration between the company and strategic and the startups. And so, and when we are making direct investment, it takes a lot of time to come to the final goal. So 01 is helping out the company and startups via the 01 fund. Actually, we are utilizing and we are operating this fund to make sure that we could go through the whole investment process in a very speedy manner. We're focused on the early stage companies, and as for the Series B and above, our principle is to just convert the investment method into a direct investment. This is the overall process, and it is based on the schedule for the first half of 2023. We are going to identify the needs from the operating team, and next February we are going to open this competition. And then once we receive all the application from startups, 01 will go through the paper assessment process, and after this, operating team will be involved, and they will have interviews with the startups. And once the startups are selected by the operating team, and they'll be on our final list. So in March, every assessment process will be over, and the final selection process will continue in the month of April. So they will so the selected startups will participate in the project workshops where we will be talking about detailed processes of the program, like the milestones and etc. And also, if we our project is on the basis of the POC, so the startups will not be able to just develop everything, so they have to just pinpoint the scope of their development in the very early stage of this collaboration. Once everything is over, based on the topics we discussed at the workshop, startups are requested to forge a proposal, and we will go to the next stage, which is that like signing the contract. And also during the funding process, we will have the IR, and the startups will be selected for a further investment. And also manager will be designated for each startup, who will help the startups for the preliminary assessment and final assessment. So once the startups are also selected, they will also be involved in the accelerator process. So this is the poster that we have been published so far, and we have 10 programs, and next year we're going to receive applications from the startups 2 times. And this is the last slide. It is the slide on the collaboration cases. The 3 examples are now on display: robotics, autonomous driving, and ESG. And with this company called C, we are working on the robotics to control a hardware and software integrated solution. Actually, this startup was in collaboration with the Hyundai group to develop a robotics development for the Movis plant, and also the third program was now in progress to apply the technology for the robotics from the Boston Dynamics. And startup company named M also is involved in the autonomous driving. Actually, this program is to apply the AutoEver map data to the autonomous simulator, and also the collaboration is continued for the UAM simulation environment establishment. And the last case is quite a unique example because they are involved in the upcycling solution utilizing waste. And they were selected in 2021. Actually, the banners is to be regarded as a scrap materials, but this company had collaborated to collect the wastes from the Hyundai group, and they have expanded their development categories to include the tent and etc. And this company has been collaborating with us for the branding, and actually our program is all about collaboration. So we believe that startups will be given a great chance to have a strategic partnership together with the group, and also we have a variety of branches like construction and distribution and etc. So we are not only dealing with the automobiles and batteries and technologies. So we are looking into a variety of opportunities for startups. I hope that we will have further discussions during the networking session. Thank you, and please give him a big round of applause. So we had the senior manager, Mr. Changwoo from Hyundai Automobile Company, and he just introduced to us about the great chances available for startups. So if startups are interested in collaboration with the Hyundai, and then the doors will be open next year, February and July. So please keep it posted. And we have been talking about great stories from 4 different companies.
감사의 말씀 드리고 싶습니다.
to the four speakers. And with this session, we were discovering all the great information for the open innovation. And now we're going to take a short break. And starting from 1:30, we're going to have a startup showcase.